The Miami Grand Prix was supposed to be a comeback weekend for Ferrari, but it turned into yet another public exhibition of failed strategy calls, driver anger, and evident performance difficulties with the SF25. On a weekend when McLaren and Red Bull made progress, the Scuderia dropped even deeper into the middle, forced to watch from afar as their title rivals walked away with crucial points. But what happened during and after the Grand Prix made things even worse. And Ferrari is now at the start of what's looking like an internal battle. The team radio drama between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc grabbed headlines, but the actual concern extends beyond delayed pit wall choices. What happened in Miami reveals a bigger picture of a once optimistic Ferrari project being pushed to its limits. These are the parts that reflect this developing tension: team strategy failures, public frustration from Hamilton and Leclerc, and Fred Vaser's insistence that everything is still under control. Let us start with the immediate aftermath of Miami, where Ferrari's strategy and communication problems were the focus of the weekend. Ferrari disappointed on several fronts at the Miami Grand Prix. In terms of performance, the SF25 was still some way from approaching McLaren. Fred Vaser's team is perhaps the fourth fastest, which is an objective failure given their course until 2024. However, the Scuderia's poor planning and communication came front stage in Miami. Lewis Hamilton says he won't apologize for being straightforward in his team radio messages. Ferrari, perhaps more than any other team, has earned a reputation for strategic blunders. The team's stubbornness to stop for intermediates seriously hampered Hamilton and Leclerc during the first round in Australia. Hamilton was eager to defend Ferrari in the face of criticism over their team radio communications. However, the narrative around the Maranello team has shifted to a negative tone. Their lack of performance clearly frustrates both drivers. Even Charles Leclerc, who has historically protected Ferrari, is growing impatient. In this backdrop, Ferrari's failure to swap Hamilton and Leclerc in Miami quickly enough, denying Hamilton the opportunity to catch Antonelli, garnered much criticism. Speaking to Sky Sports after the race, Hamilton detailed how he discussed the situation. "Fred came to my room. I just put my hand on his shoulder and said, 'Dude, calm down. Don't be so sensitive.' I could have said way worse things on the radio. You hear some of the things other people have said in the past. Some of it was sarcasm. You've got to understand, we're under a huge amount of pressure in the cars. You're never going to get the most peaceful messages come through in the heat of battle. I don't know what you're going to write, or whether I was disrespectful or whatever. I honestly don't feel I was. I was just like, come on guys, I want to win. I've still got that fire in my belly. I could feel a bit of it coming out there. And I'm not going to apologize for being a fighter. I'm not going to apologize for still wanting it." That passion is something Ferrari requires more than ever. With each passing race, the belief that this squad can launch a meaningful 2025 challenge dwindles. That gets us to the second element of the story: increasing pressure on Fred Vaser and the possibility that Ferrari will be trapped with a car that does not deliver. Since becoming Ferrari team principal in 2023, Fred Vaser has received a lot of accolades, and with good reason. The Frenchman led a significant rebound in the team's fortunes in 2024, narrowly losing out on the constructors' title. Unfortunately for Vaser, his confidence in Ferrari's future has gradually evaporated. The SF25's poor performance, which Vaser frequently blames on a failure to realize its full potential, symbolizes yet another failure at Maranello to develop a championship-winning car. Not only is McLaren well ahead, but so are Mercedes and Red Bull. Even Williams was faster in Miami, with Carlos Sainz finishing behind the Ferrari duo despite suffering floor damage. On paper, having such a great lineup with Hamilton and Leclerc is a huge advantage. However, because Ferrari has failed to deliver a competitive enough car, this driver pairing simply emphasizes the team's shortcomings. Despite all the talk of a catastrophe at Red Bull following Bahrain, the Milton Keynes team has already rebounded. Their floor modification, which only Verstappen received in Miami, appeared to improve performance. When Tsunoda obtains this component in Imola, Ferrari's position in the pecking order may be strengthened even further. Despite this, Fred Vaser believes the issue in Miami was handled properly and the strategy involving Hamilton and Leclerc was justified. However, not everyone, including fans and paddock insiders, believes the narrative. The final article discusses Vaser's defense and Leclerc's increasingly loud disappointment. Ferrari team principal Fred Vaser insists that the exchanges between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc in Miami went smoothly. Vaser argued that Hamilton was given a fair chance to catch Antonelli due to team orders. Despite criticism of Ferrari's handling of the situation, the Frenchman believes it was a well-planned sequence. Perhaps above all, Fred Vaser is well known for his optimism. Since joining in 2023, the Ferrari team chief has been optimistic about the Maranello outfit's potential, and his belief was confirmed last year. The Scuderia fought for the championship last year despite a faulty update package in Spain. Vaser deserves a lot of credit for directing the team's quick turnaround, which was made possible by the modifications brought to Monza. As a result, Ferrari was filled with hope as it approached 2025. The team's failure to maintain its momentum from last year has only exacerbated concerns about the SF25. Last weekend's Miami Grand Prix, in which Ferrari lacked pace and failed to communicate properly, added to doubt about their project. Despite this pessimism, Fred Vaser maintains that Hamilton and Leclerc's trades were well managed. "I can understand the frustration of the guys in the car," he told Sky Sports, "but at the end, it was well executed. Because Lewis was behind Charles, he was with the softer compound, we let him go. Then, we swapped back at the end. I think we let the chance for Lewis to go in front of Charles. It was impossible to overtake between them if we don't let them go and swap. I think it was the opportunity for Lewis to catch up Antonelli, and I think we did a good job. You need to understand in this situation, if you are faster than the car in front of you because you have DRS, or because you have the pace. We took 1 lap to take a decision, and then 1 lap to apply the decision. For various reasons, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton have little patience for Ferrari's current performance. Leclerc, who is entering his 7th year with the club, finds it tough to accept another year without a title-contending vehicle. At some point, the Monegasque must question whether the Italian team can create a car worthy of a championship. The 2026 regulations will be crucial in determining whether Leclerc can win a title with Ferrari. Hamilton's departure from Mercedes, who are expected to build the finest 2026 engines, was intended to help him win his 8th world title. Battling with Williams was not his expectation for 2025. Unless the SF25 improves significantly, Ferrari will face enormous pressure to produce by 2026. Regardless of how you look at it, the Scuderia faces a number of short and medium-term challenges. Fred Vaser's leadership will be tested more than ever before. And the question is if he'll be able to keep things in check. And not only that, will he also be able to develop a better car with the team? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.